And we say, what's going on, everybody? Christian Ballard Sports Media. Got my mic back as my grandmother and I made it back to the lake safely today. Um, had a really good day. Did get to go to church this morning, so that was good. Got to see a lot of friends. But we're here tonight to talk some basketball. Really, I'm not going to drop the link. This isn't going to be a hangout, but I do want to look at Joe Lunardi's ESPN 2023 NCAA tournament men's bracketology. This was updated 45 minutes ago tonight at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. So it says here, let me go ahead and screen share and we'll get it pulled up. And I guess I could zoom in just a little bit. Okay. Championship week has arrived, and with it, a stretch of unpredictability and volatility unmatched in sports. Who's in, who's out? Where is my team going? Bracketology has the answers on a daily dynamic basis. Look for updates with each key result through Selection Sunday afternoon. We have eyes on every conference tournament from the early round bubble games to the determination of the top seeds in the projected NCAA field. Expect plenty of movement at both the top of the bracket and the bottom at large pool. The best time of year is here. Fully agree with that, Joe. Um, Tournament challenge. I don't think it's available until the bracket is released. We'll do that a different day once we get the bracket out. So the bracket watch. The top overall seed is Kansas and the Jayhawks, who are 25-6, first in the Big 12, and could win the Big 12 tournament. The regular season champs, even though they did fail to beat Texas the other night. They lost on the road 75 to 59. So, and we'll see who they're playing on the 9th. We got to wait as they are the top seed in the Big 12. So, you look at that, they're the first overall seed, top overall seed. The first team out. Now, this is the team that needs something to happen in their conference. They need to make a big run, big impression to get in the tournament. This is Utah State. The Aggies are 24-7 and second in the Mountain West. A good record, 24-7. They are on a win streak of 5. They're coming off a weekend win of beating Boise State 86-73. And in that game, Taylor Funk had scored 24 points in Utah's 86-73 win over Boise State on Saturday night. So they beat them last night. That being said, the last team in. This is the last team in the tournament. This is like the lowest of the low. Penn State. I'm sure my grandparents would be very proud. 10th in the Big Ten, 19-12 on the year. Actually, a pretty good record. But at one point, they had like a 4 or 5 game losing streak to teams like Purdue, who at the time was number 1. They lost to Nebraska. They lost to Wisconsin, Maryland. They've lost to Rutgers, but they've beaten teams like Ohio State. They just beat 21 Maryland. They played a really tough schedule. They played teams like Illinois, Michigan State, Clemson, Virginia Tech. Those games they just could not get a win in, except for the Illinois game I mentioned. So Penn State seems like an interesting team. I don't think they'll make it very far in the tournament. Currently, they are the last team in. Let's read this here. It's an extremely close call among the top three teams on the new seed list: Kansas, Alabama, and Houston. But the Jayhawks get the nod in this update thanks to their unprecedented Quadrant 1 record, 15-6. I understand it seems counterintuitive to move up after a loss, but Kansas falling at Texas is less of a negative than Alabama losing at Texas A&M. As an Alabama fan, I agree with that. And Houston simply doesn't have the necessary wins to pass either the Big 12 or SEC regular season champions. So basically, you had between those three teams as the number one seed. Alabama took a worse loss than Kansas, and Kansas has a better resume, it seems, than Houston. So it kind of still makes sense to have them as the top overall seed. On the bubble, last four byes: Pittsburgh, NC State, Auburn, and Rutgers, the last four to get in. We talked Penn State being on that list, Mississippi State, Nevada, Wisconsin also in there. Actually curious about some of these teams here. Mississippi State is 20-11. They're ninth in the SEC. You look at Nevada and what they've done, 22-9, fourth in the Mountain West, on a two-game losing streak to Wyoming and UNLV. They play on, we do 4 days in advance. Thursday, they play on Thursday against San Jose State. So, again, last four byes, last four in. Wisconsin's in there. They actually are an intriguing team too. 17-13, 11th in the conference. They come off a win over Minnesota. They lost to Purdue. They lost to Michigan. They beat Iowa 64-52, and Iowa can be a good team. They're mostly a women's basketball program, but they could be good in men's too. But Wisconsin in there, that keep your eye on them if they get a nod at the NCAA tournament. Now, we continue on the bubble. This one, what? North Carolina. Now, they're coming off a loss to Duke. Duke is on a 6-game win streak. It's gonna be, and again, these teams, it'll all depend on conference tournaments. But North Carolina has talent. National runner-up, not the defending champs, because Kansas won it last year. They've taken a huge step back this year. 11-9 in conference play, 19-12 overall. They are currently 7th in the ACC. I guess I don't blame them for being one of the next four out. You got Vanderbilt, you got Oregon. Now let's get to the meat and potatoes. Let's look at the 68-team bracket. Here we go. So Kansas, Alabama, Houston, and UCLA are the number one seeds. Alabama in the Birmingham region of the bracket, the South. I guess AQ is automatic qualifier. Currently, if this bracket were what we would see tomorrow or today, Alabama would play a team in UNC Asheville, who is 27-7, first in the Big South. They are the Asheville Bulldogs of UNC. And believe it or not, they have a really good record. And 9 game win streak. Drew Penmer is a forward who's scoring 20 points a game. Really interesting team there. That could be something. I hope Alabama doesn't lose to a team like that. You see teams trending upward. Iowa State up to a 5 seed to play number 12 VCU. VCU Rams. I'm not sure who is VCU. Let me see this. Where's I'll Google it later. I'll figure it out. Virginia and Toledo. Creighton against Nevada or Washington. Kansas State against UC Irving. Northwestern and USC. I see in the Sacramento region over here at the bottom. Right here. If I can highlight that, I can. Some Big Ten Pac-12 action. I like it. The West and the Las Vegas region, UCLA, Texas A&M, Commerce, Commerce something, whatever CC is. Providence, Boise State, TCU, Iona, Xavier, Utah Valley, in the Orlando region of the West, western part of the bracket. Auburn is in here. They would be playing Michigan State. Interesting matchup there. Good defense, good offense. Gonzaga and Furman. Gonzaga probably beat them like a drum, but Gonzaga has struggled a little bit this year. That's interesting. Iowa and Pittsburgh, Texas and Youngstown, Tennessee, Louisiana, Duke and Rutgers. And again, this is not the official bracket. Selection Sunday is in 1 week on the 12th of March. But this is just to give us an idea of what we could possibly see if it ended today. Conference breakdown. I love this. Big Ten has 10 teams. SEC with 8. Big 12 with 7. With 5 in the ACC and Big East. 3 in the Mountain West and the Pac-12. And WCC with 2. American with 2 as well. So, this is going to be a fun bracket. I really believe that. This is just Bracketology from Joe Lenardi, just to give us an idea of what we could be seeing within the next week or so, or the coming weeks, I should say. If I say the next week, that's this week. But we got conference tournaments to discuss, to watch, and really look forward to. So I'm really excited. I'm always pumped up for March Madness. And if you're wondering, too, in the background, it's supposed to be, let me show you, NRG Stadium in Houston, Texas, where the Final Four will take place this year for the men's. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Alabama has fallen a little bit. Well, I don't know. Let me go back to that. If they had Alabama as a 1 seed, then they haven't fallen. They fell this weekend, though, for sure. They're not the top overall seed. They are a 1 seed in the Birmingham region, but obviously you can tell they like teams like Kansas and, probably just Kansas, but they obviously, Alabama went from being up here to being a tad under, just a tad, just a little bit. So, I mean, they fall a little. Kansas is soaring. Dude, oh my gosh. How cool would this be if we really get the two best teams in basketball this year, I think it will be between Kansas and Alabama. Could you imagine? Oh my gosh, as a fan, I would love it. I'd be nervous, but I'd love a good challenge like that. I would love to see Kansas and Alabama. That would be awesome for sure. Let me see. We got a comment. What's up, Brock? Good to see Brock in here. It's been a while, man. I see you on Twitter all the time, though. Kansas did jump Alabama. Yes, sir. Sup, LW? Roll Tide. I don't, I don't blame them for doing that too much. We lost. Alabama did as the number 2 team in the nation to the number 24 team in the nation in Texas A&M. Now, Kansas, who did they play? Did they even beat a quality opponent this weekend? Let me see. No, they lost to a quality opponent. It's a good opponent. It's Texas. I don't know, though. I mean, here's the thing you got to sort out. Alabama lost by 5. Kansas lost by 14. 16 points, actually. Did that math wrong? Kansas lost by 16. Alabama lost by 6. Okay? Kansas lost to a better opponent than Alabama did. Now that's fair, because Texas is better than TAMU and Texas A&M. That's fair. I don't know the system. I don't understand how. I don't know how the system works. I don't understand, but I mean, it is what it is. I'm not going to sweat it too much. I mean, Alabama will be one of the top teams in men's basketball when the tournament comes out, and they'll make a deep run, I'm sure, if they can just keep their composure, play for 40 minutes in a game, and just focus on the process. The process is not just in football at Alabama. Focus on the process of what it takes to be successful in every sport, everything you do, and I think Alabama will be just fine. So, but I mean, it would make a lot more sense Kansas jumping Alabama if Kansas had won, but I get it. Yeah, they lost by 16. I mean, the only justification for it is that they lost to a top 10 team. Kansas did. And Alabama lost to a almost unranked SEC team. The SEC is okay in basketball. They're not bad. Not going to take anything away from the conference. But would you rather lose to a top 10 or lose to number 24 in the nation when you've been a top 5 team almost all year long? Alabama, by the way, plays in 5 days. They play this Friday at 12 noon Central. The opponent is to be determined. Could it be a rematch with Texas A&M? Could it be Auburn? What does the bracket hold? That's what I want to know. In fact, let me pull it up real quick. Uh, okay. So Texas A&M, who just beat Alabama, is the number 2 team in the SEC according to the bracket. Alabama already gets 2 rounds off. They will play either Florida or Mississippi State, depending on who wins the second round. That's at least according to this bracket from Rocky Top Insider. Let me screen share and pull it up. Tab. Share. Let me zoom in on that. Okay. I probably zoomed in a bit too much, but okay. So you got Alabama number 1, Texas A&M number 2, Kentucky's 3, Mizzou is 4. Those are the teams that are automatically quarterfinalists. Ole Miss and South Carolina will play. They will play Tennessee, the winner. Alabama gets either Florida or Mississippi State. Texas A&M gets either Auburn or Arkansas. Mizzou gets the winner of Tennessee versus Ole Miss or South Carolina. Vanderbilt is waiting on Georgia and LSU. I'd actually take Georgia in that one, actually. And then Kentucky's waiting on the winner of the Vanderbilt game. So that's your bracket. It is set. It will be in Nashville, Tennessee at Bridgestone Arena, March 8th through the 12th. So we got 3 days. It will start on Wednesday with the first round. Alabama will not play, I guess, until Friday if I'm doing that right. So, but we will see. We look forward to it. We're excited, and I'm glad March Madness is here. I think March Madness starts with the conference tournaments. Is that fair to say? As soon as March gets here, it's on, baby. Let's bring it. Come on. And it's I mean, it's here. So Alabama's the regular season SEC champions. Can they win the tournament again? We will see. The big question is we know they will go to the big dance. They will go to March Madness. The question for Alabama is how far do they make it? That's the big question. I think they got knocked out after 2 games last year, but this is a whole different team. 26-5, first in the SEC. Man, their losses too are to ranked teams. Some of them are close, some of them not so much. And that's with the exception to Oklahoma. Oklahoma was not ranked. We'll see. We will see. Okay. Anyway, I just wanted to talk some bracketology with you guys. Look at the bracket. Look at what could potentially be next Sunday on Selection Sunday. Will I be live for it? I will not be live, but I'm going to be keeping an eye on Sunday as the brackets are released. We can even talk the women's March Madness and bracket if you guys want to. I'm not against it whatsoever. I just think I'm not trying to sound sexist or anything. I just you know, I just find the men's basketball more enjoyable. I don't know what it is, but that's just what I find. A quick rundown though, bracketology for the women's. South Carolina is indeed the top overall seed, no surprise. First team out is Oregon. Last team in is West Virginia. Um, Last four buys: Kansas, Mississippi State, Miami, Marquette. Is Alabama on here? How is Coach Curry doing? I want to see. Alabama's on there in Iowa City and Seattle 4 region against South Florida. They're a 10 seed. So Alabama not quite as good in women's as they are in men's basketball, but they're still pretty good. Still good enough to get on that bracket. See what they can do. So let's see. SEC women's tournament bracket. Oh, that was this week. Okay. So Alabama was the sixth best team in the SEC in women's. They had the conference tournament this weekend. So yeah. And it was in Greenville, South Carolina. Yeah, I know. I did have to be careful there a little bit, Steve. I do have to be careful. Yeah. No, I watch women's basketball. I watched it last year. Watched the Final Four, and you know who is always fun to watch though is I think she's a sophomore this year, but UConn and Paige Beckers always fun to watch, man. And Dawn Staley with what she's done with South Carolina, that's always fun to watch too. Um, South Carolina is a women's basketball um, school, and there's nothing wrong with that label. I mean, they just that's where they're good at. I like the Lady Vols too. And of course, I follow Coach Curry and Alabama, but no, there's some good teams, some killer teams in women's basketball for sure. Really good. So, and to win the SEC title, South Carolina, they beat the Volunteers 74 to 58. Big time. That was today. That was today. 32 and 0. Oh my gosh. 32 and 0. Undefeated. South Carolina women's basketball. Steve. Montana Fouts kicked ass today, like her. But she's fine. Yeah. She's a good player. And Alabama's really good at softball. See, it's more than just football. I promise you. We're sports university, if you will. Baseball got to pick it up just a little bit. But, we got softball, we got men's and women's basketball, we got football, tennis. I follow all athletics at Alabama. I see it, I don't cover it. But, I mean, even it looks like tennis is doing good. I mean, it's crazy. Oh, man. Anyway, I'm going to get out of here. It is 9:15 Central Time. I'm going to relax, enjoy the rest of my night. I love you guys. Thanks so much to Brock, LW, and Steve Pearson for showing up tonight. Love you guys. Jesus loves you. Please like, comment, and subscribe to Ballard Sports Media for more sports content. And until next time, folks, Ballard Sports Media, checking out. Jesus loves you. I love you guys too. We'll see you.